Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. I'm very excited to be here today. My name is Dr. Gabriella, and I'm here with a very wonderful friend from France who just recently published her book, The Blueberry Muffin. And I'm very excited to introduce Genevieve. And Genevieve, would you like to say a few words about yourself?
Yes, hello, Gabriella. Thank you so much for having me. I well, it's a funny story writing this book with the illustrations. I have been writing stories for children for years, but I have never had time to try and do something with that writing. With having to raise three wonderful daughters and working full time as well as a teacher actually. So I had more time those past 2 years. And last summer, I realized that if I wasn't going to do something about making illustrations myself, it would never happen. I had tried finding someone who could illustrate for me, but it somehow never worked. So I started about a year ago, actually, working on the illustrations. And since I can't draw, I mean, I haven't had the training to draw.
Mm-hmm.
It I had to be creative. And now, thanks to you, the book was finally published, and I'm so happy to see it coming to life. Having a book, in your hands, knowing what it took you to finish it up, uh, the doubts you can have when you work on drawings and it's not your field of expertise at all. And so, but I kept going. And actually, there is something that helped me through this process. It's this book from Elizabeth Gilbert, Big Magic.
Oh, okay.
This is like my Bible. I keep it on my desk with my drawing pencils. And it kept reminding me that I had to stay in the moment. I had to keep doing it because I really needed to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't need to think about the outcome.
Yes.
And actually, once I was done with the drawings and I had the text, my problem was, okay, now what do I do with this? And as you know, we were lucky to be introduced by a common friend or someone we both know. And so
Yes.
that's our little adventure of making these two separate elements, pictures, words, come together. This started with you, and that's wonderful, right? And the last thing I wanted to say was how I thought I couldn't draw, but I guess I can because I did draw the pictures to the words I had written. I am a creative. I mean, I have always created through words, created stories with words. And I thought that, I mean, and words to me, when someone talks to me, always transfer into images in my mind. So everything that I hear, it's images, movies in my head. That's how I process information, verbal information, or when I read a book, I have the movie in my mind. So in fact, drawing the images to the words I had written, the great discovery for me was that it actually gave my words even more life. It
Mm-hmm.
added some kind of 3D dimension that wasn't there before. It complemented it.
Yes, I love that. And I love the idea of seeing the images in your mind. That just means that you're so amazingly connected to the stories that you hear or the stories that you create, that you can translate it into an image. And I think this is just really such an amazing encouragement to anybody because I don't think I can draw well either, but as you know, your story inspired me to write a little children's story. So I'm going to try to see what can I come up with because I think whatever we can put our mind to it, we can do it. And I think there's something really special, and a lot of people who have seen the story that I wrote about you publishing this book they were really excited that you also did the illustrations in the book, because I think that is just so rare anymore, especially with the presence of AI
Yeah.
and all that. You know, a lot of people just create an AI image, but it really shows your heart and your creativity to make the images yourself. And we can add a few images below this podcast so people could see some of the drawings that you have created. And I
Mhm.
also have seen some of the drawings that the second book has, which is very exciting. So why the blueberry muffin?
Huh. It probably came years ago from after leaving Minneapolis, where I lived for almost 5 years. And
Hmm.
in Minneapolis, and so then I went to Boston for a while. And I missed those muffins that I used to eat in Minneapolis at a little cafe called Sebastian Joe's. And
Uh-huh.
Sebastian and Joe were two brothers. I suppose they're still there. And they had the best raspberry and blueberry muffins. I was very
Mhm.
hesitating between the two. It was either one or the other. And in the morning, by the lake, not too far from Lake Harriet, having that cup of coffee with a muffin. It's something that I brought with me unknowingly to another state. And uh, it just came out as a little character, a blueberry muffin. But it comes from that emotional and very physical memory.
I just love that so, so very much. And we have talked multiple times, but I had no idea of this backstory that it actually came from a real muffin that was inspired, uh, that you just love the muffin so much that now we have a muffin character. And that is so much fun. So people, maybe we can direct people to the specific place where you got the blueberry muffin. So
Oh,
if they taste the same joy that you have
mm,
when you get the blueberry muffin. I love the character. I think it is so much fun, and we don't want to give away the storyline, but it becomes like a beautiful, magical little story together with this little girl who just loved the blueberry muffin so much. Yeah, so I don't want to say
right.
don't
The,
want
the,
to give away the story, but it is truly magical, and I really recommend anybody to read it.
the thing is, I do believe in the good in people, in the good in
Hmm.
the world, and I think we all need elements of magic in our lives. Particularly now. And that's why I guess that element of magic, of hope, of transformation um, has always been with me. And that's what I like to put in my stories.
Absolutely, and I think it is just also another way of, yes, creating some magic, creating some positivity in the world, and let the imagination play. And also shows that anything is possible, because there's many things through human history too that we thought were not possible, and now they are possible. And each of us can create something new and magical in the world. And now you add it to it by recreating a story of a blueberry muffin from a muffin you enjoyed so much. So that I just love that. And I've seen the drawings from the second book, which I also really enjoy. And I think we had a great learning process together too, with the different little pieces of the publishing and how the pictures look before printed, after printed, how to adjust them, and what are all the different options we can put this book out there, which is also, people who don't know, this book is available in English, in French, and in English and French, and both in color and black and white, and ebook as well as printed book. And it's going to be also in the libraries as well. So anybody could check it out anywhere from the world, which is also super exciting now. That's the positive part of technology, right? That we can
Absolutely.
make this book available everywhere.
Yeah, being thousands of miles away, you live on the farthest coast possible in the US, and I live in the south of France. And magic actually brought us together, and you know, the technology got us connected so that we could, um, you know, make this project real, make it happen. We could make it happen. So
Yeah, this is amazing. And we are planning multiple projects together. And Genevieve also offered to help me probably translate my little books or some of the little things to French, which is also very exciting. And I just also love that you were a teacher, and you just have the kids in mind so much. So you also know the developmental needs of children. And I don't know if you would like to say a few words about that, like what your experience been and how maybe this book is connected to what you have done in life as a teacher.
right. Yes. When I came back to France, I was 25. I resumed my studies, and I was I had missed the old Europe, I guess. I stayed in the States for 4 years and a half without coming back to France. So, but 5 years altogether. But I only came back once after 6 months. So it was a long stay from 20 to 25. That's your first adult years, years as an
Mm-hmm.
adult. So it's very, very important emotionally. And so, but when I came back to France, when I went back to France, I uh, made the wrong choice, which is not wrong in itself, because every choice in life leads to an experience, and so in itself it's always beneficial. But I chose to go back to teach young children in elementary school instead of teaching English, which is of course my calling and what I was good at.
Mm-hmm.
But so the concours, which is this national exam you take to become a teacher, and there, it's restricted to a certain number of people, so it's always pretty tough. The one I took was to teach as an elementary school teacher. I got it. I ended up being in schools. And from these few years, because very soon I realized I needed to go back to teaching, I needed to go back to English. So then I took another concours to become an English teacher, and that's what I did. But being with younger kids, that's where I also wrote more children's stories.
Mm-hmm.
I would invent them and tell them the stories as, you know, to give them little breaks in between lessons sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and they were so enthusiastic. And that's actually that's the first time that I thought, hey, maybe there is something, about this. Maybe I could actually please children. They really well. Sorry, I'm looking for the word. I have the French. They really liked the stories and actually had questions about my stories, and that was really interesting. They
Yeah.
made me go deeper and ask myself questions about my choices of characters. Or so I need to plug in my computer. There you go.
That's all
Yeah,
right.
go ahead.
With technology,
So
we know sometimes things we need to plug them in.
that's it.
And
It's
sometimes connections get
yeah.
interrupted as well. That is so wonderful. And yes, children have that amazing curiosity to ask why and then what happened, and that can really spark the interest and creativity in the characters. So, have any children read your books, or the
Not yet,
or
actually.
the,
Not yet.
Mhm.
Right now I only have the editor's copies. So and so far in France you can only get them. You can only get the digital versions. If you want to order
Yes.
them, it's through the US, and the cost of shipping is very high. So I'm waiting to be able to get them through a platform that is accessible from France. And
Yeah.
but I have a young an 11-year-old boy who takes English lessons. So I'll get to see him again in September, and I will definitely read it to him and see what he thinks. And I will let you know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I know you had some beta readers, some adult beta readers, including me, who loved the book, which is also a wonderful indicator that this it it is very cute, and just it warms my heart, really, the little story that is simple and fun, and just really brings, I know we kept saying the word magic, but it really truly brings the little magical spark
Mm.
of the world, um, in writing and creating.
Yeah, and I think I would like, as this uh, journey is ongoing, I mean, between us and the different projects, I think I would love to have a little series, of muffin stories, muffin
Hmm.
adventures. So there
Yes.
is a second one that will be done as soon as possible, but I'm more than halfway through the illustration process. The text is already there. I'm adding three new scenes in the original story, actually. So because of the drawing, that's
Hmm.
interesting. The drawing, the making of the drawings is actually um, improving the story. It's
Oh,
complementary,
yeah.
but you see, the first it was about words, and now the illustrations are bringing more elements that I feel are important to bring into the story.
I
So
love that.
it's interesting how it's hand to hand, words and images. So
Yes.
I feel that it would be a little sad, to say goodbye to my muffin after the second story. So I
Yeah,
may
let's not say goodbye to the muffin.
I have
I
so
love
many
it.
other ideas about adventures that he could live, and it's a way for children when you have characters like this, because honestly, okay, at some point I thought, what are you doing having a little muffin with legs and arms talking?
He's so cute. You guys have
and,
to know that he's so cute.
and at the same time, instantly I thought, hey, SpongeBob, I mean,
Hmm.
there's a sponge that talks, that lives under the sea, and it's okay. Everybody, I mean,
Yes.
nobody thinks silly or anything. So just keep going, do your muffin, and don't worry about it having legs and arms. And yeah,
Oh
so
my gosh, I love that so much. And now that you were just telling me earlier about the raspberry muffin, I would love to see a book where the raspberry muffin meets the blueberry muffin. Oh my God, that would be like so adorable. And I was just thinking other characters, there's stick figure characters that, you know, just have legs and a stick. And then there's like the minions, who I also truly love. That's such a simple character, but I love them, and everybody pretty much who I met them, they love them, and they're silly and goofy. And um yeah, and I just love that you did not let um that stop you, that you had an imagination, and a muffin with legs and arms, and there he is, little
mm.
blueberry muffin, and very
And
cute.
it's we were children, but as we grow into adults, it's very difficult sometimes to remember exactly how we saw things from our perspective as children. And I think when you read stories with your children, with a child, and the story is about a muffin character, or so something that is not possible, it helps, I think, bridge the gap between the child's imagination, which we used to have, but we don't have that same way of seeing life and thinking anymore. We know it's there. The little child we were is still there. But reading those stories to our children, with them, in our arms, and it's a moment that really bridges the age gap, and also the role of child and parent. It's something unique, and I think it's then our children will keep on reading by themselves. But reading children's stories with children, as parents or as friends or as teachers, is something extremely. It's a direct communication. It's something it's a tool, really, to bridge a gap, a generation gap, um, a gap, age gap, a gap on many levels.
Yeah, I love that, Genevieve. And I do think that this story, it's good for any generation. I mean, I love that. It sparked my inspiration. So it doesn't, and I'm above 50, and it doesn't matter how old you are. You can read children's stories at any time. And why not bring in that joy and fun of an adventure of a blueberry muffin into your life? Like, who would not want that? Um, I could also see this as a little movie, character, as, the blueberry muffin actually seeing it as a little cartoon. I mean, I think it's really important, as you say, to visit that world of creativity and joy and seeing through the lens of a children's eye. And I think we can, as adults, if we slow down enough and just be in a moment and enjoy these characters, enjoy the stories, and look at things with a natural curiosity, even though that we might know that a tree is a tree. You can look at a tree as something that you have seen it the first time, and you can look at a blueberry muffin or a little girl or grandma or whoever is the character with a new wonder, like, and question, okay, what will happen next? And I love that when you were talking about the kids, that they keep asking questions. So it's good to keep asking questions, and sometimes people get annoyed when people ask questions, but that is the natural curiosity. And I think it's an important element to ask those questions and keep that wonder open.
Absolutely.
So, Genevieve, thank you so much for joining me today, and having this discussion about the Blueberry Muffin book. And we'll add the links and different places where people can buy the book. Is there anything else that we haven't talked about today that you would like it to be like a final message to go out to people?
Well, I just hope that people will, be curious about this little book, and will enjoy reading it if they decide to go ahead and order it, be it the digital or paper version. And I hope they will see just how, truthful it was meant to be, just simple and truthful. And so yes, I know one thing I would love is for people who actually decide to read it to give us any feedback. It will help me again, just whether they liked it or not. I mean, it's always a possibility, but feedback is essential, I think, to understand some things, to improve what you do, and so feedback would be wonderful.
I love that. I love that openness, Genevieve. Thank you so much. So please, people, check out the book. As I mentioned, we'll put all the links to it, but you can also search for it, The Blueberry Muffin. And yeah, we are excited to have the second book out soon, within the next few months as well. And yeah, I'm looking forward for the next adventures of the Blueberry Muffin. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. Until next time, we're going to say goodbye for now. Bye,
Goodbye.
everyone.
Bye.